In Psalm 3, we're talking about going to God even when we feel guilty, not just when we are running from something or dealing with something and we can say, Lord, I haven't done anything. Please come to my aid. But when we've actually caused the problem ourselves, maybe individually or corporately, going to God in mercy, not in our own righteousness, we can and must go to the Lord when we feel guilty. He's for a forgiving God. Here are four reasons that we can go to God when we feel guilty, when we are reaping the consequences of our own sins or poor decision making. First of all, God is greater than our problems. So in Psalm chapter 3, there's an emphasis here on many. How many are my foes? Many are rising up against me. Many are saying there is no salvation for him in God. And the simple point, but really important point, God is greater than the many. Doesn't matter how many people are surrounding you, doesn't matter how often uh, the world tells you that there is no hope for you in God. God is greater than the many. God is greater than all of our problems. The biggest problem you have in your life, whether it's economic, whether it's social, whether it's dealing with a sin, the biggest problem you have in your life is like a pebble on the beach compared to Mount Everest. God being Mount Everest, he is greater than any problem you have. Number two, God is there for us. It's verse 3, it tells us that he is a shield about us. Now, listen to this. He is a shield around David, even when David has committed sin, and even when David has done some horrible things. God still here is going to be a shield to David. He's not going to let anything into David's life that is not under the sovereignty of his majesty. God is always there for us. By the way, this word shield, there's three different kinds of shields in the Old Testament. This is that big shield that you would see in a battle. He's the big shield around us, not just that little one that you kind of try to hide behind. But God he's like a shield that the only things that are going to come into our lives are the things that God is going to sovereignly allow. He's not going to abandon us in the battle. He is always there for us. Verses 5 through 6 give us a third thought that it promises us peace. That when we go to the Lord, we're going to have peace. Now, we're probably not going to have peace unless we're praying. We're probably not going to have peace unless we go to the Lord. But listen to what David says. I lay down and slept. I woke again, and the Lord sustained me. I will not be afraid of many thousands of people who have set themselves against me all around. When you feel like the whole world is against you, and again, because of something that you've done, maybe you feel that way. Maybe it's actually real, like in David's case, people are actually very much against you. The Lord can give you peace when you go to him. Go to God when you feel guilty. Let God give you that sense of peace. David says, after going to the Lord, I found that I could lay down and I got a good night's sleep and I woke up. And that doesn't always happen right away, but the more we rest in God's righteousness instead of ours, he grants us peace. Here's my favorite passage in here. God will vindicate us through his righteousness. And there's a lot here in verses 6 and 7, but let me go back to something it says in verse 3. That you are around me, O Lord, a shield around me, my glory. You're the lifter of my head. Get this language. You're the lifter of my head. What does that mean? David is bowing his head in shame like this, and the Lord comes along and lifts his head. You ever have a little child that's ashamed, maybe your son or daughter, or granddaughter, and you go and you lift their head? What are you doing? You're trying to vindicate them from that shame. And so the Lord is the great lifter of our head. He will vindicate us, not according to our righteousness, but according to his own mercy and his righteousness. If you are in a situation right now where you are reaping the results of poor decision making or sins that you've committed, go to the Lord. He's greater than your problems. He is there for you. He will give you peace if you will go, and he will vindicate you through his own righteousness. Go to the Lord.